Okay, picture this. You sort of wake up, right, on your couch, familiar living room, everything seems normal. But then this awful feeling washes over you like pure dread. You know someone is watching you. You can just feel these unseen eyes, you know. And the terror just builds and builds until, man, you actually do wake up. For real this time. Same spot on the couch. It was all dream. That specific feeling, someone on Reddit actually shared that exact experience, and it really captures what we're diving into today. So in this deep dive, we're unpacking that really powerful, sometimes kind of confusing dream symbol, the feeling of being watched. We've looked at, well, a whole bunch of sources, dream dictionaries, Reddit, even some older texts. Our goal here is simple. Pull out the key stuff, the important bits, to help you maybe understand what your subconscious is trying to tell you with those phantom gazes.
Yeah, it's amazing how common that is across different cultures, different times. And our sources, they really show how many layers there are to this. At its core, dreaming you're being watched. It often acts like a mirror, reflecting your inner world, basically. It can really symbolize feeling vulnerable or, exposed, like something about you, maybe a secret you have, or a fear is being looked at really closely, scrutinized.
Huh. So it's not just like a spooky movie thing, it's more about feeling seen in a way that's uncomfortable.
Exactly that, yeah. And this can definitely connect to anxiety about personal boundaries or privacy. You might feel like your thoughts or maybe your actions or even just your personal info are kind of constantly under observation. It triggers this real unease about, sharing yourself, which brings up a good question for you listening right now. Where in your actual life, your waking life, do you feel exposed or maybe unsafe?
Okay, but besides, like external pressures, can this watching feeling also come from inside? Do the sources talk about that?
Oh, absolutely. That's a huge part of it. The presence that's watching can powerfully symbolize your own internal judgment, self-criticism. It's almost like your own mind is evaluating you. Bringing up feelings like inadequacy or guilt, maybe shame. It often suggests you might be, too hard on yourself, or feeling this immense pressure to meet expectations that maybe aren't even spoken aloud. This angle really encourages looking at any negative self-talk you might be doing.
Right. And sometimes these dreams aren't just about anxieties right now or self-critique, are they? Do sources suggest they can point back to unresolved stuff from the past?
That's definitely a key point too. If you think bigger picture, being watched in a dream can absolutely point towards past experiences, things that left you feeling, vulnerable or ashamed. The dream, in a way, is trying to nudge those things into your conscious mind so you can maybe finally process them and, move on.
That's pretty deep, psychologically speaking. But, okay, stepping back a bit, our sources also mention some really interesting cultural and historical takes. It's kind of fascinating how the feeling is the same, but the meaning changes. Like in Mesopotamia, apparently it was seen as divine protection. God's watching over people.
Exactly. And what's key there is how consistent the idea of observation is, even if the why changes. Think ancient Egypt, the Eye of Horus.
6x9 Ezing.
But also healing.
Fire in the grocery store
then you've
freezer
got Greek
section.
mythology, the face, the Moirai, right? Controlling the thread of life. That's like this meticulous, unavoidable observation of destiny. Less about judgment, more about cosmic order.
And Christianity offers both sides too, doesn't it? Like the comfort of guardian angels watching over you. But then also it could be a divine warning. Judgment, or even things like the evil eye and spiritual warfare. It really runs the gamut from safety to danger.
It really does. It highlights how many different perspectives there are in dream interpretation. And, from a more modern psych view, Carl Jung talked about the shadow, that archetype representing the hidden parts of ourselves, the stuff we repress or don't want to look at. Sometimes those unseen eyes in the dream, they're just that, our own shadow parts coming up.
Okay, so who tends to have these dreams more often? Do the sources point to any patterns? It's not just random, right?
Not random, no. There are definitely patterns. People with anxiety disorders, for instance, they report them quite often. It mirrors their sort of heightened fear, that constant state of alert, hypervigilance. And for trauma survivors, these dreams can be more than just, re-experiencing something painful. They can be the subconscious trying to process overwhelming feelings. In, weirdly enough, a safe space, the dream itself, and importantly, people with low self-esteem, they frequently report dreams of being watched. For them, it often tacks right into that deep fear of judgment, of not being good enough. Watching eyes become like their inner critic made manifest.
Wow. So, okay, wrapping this up. What does
happening?
all this mean for you, the listener, next time you get that creepy feeling of unseen eyes in a dream?
Well, fundamentally, these dreams of being watched, they really are powerful mirrors. They reflect our deepest fears, maybe anxieties, or sometimes even those divine connections we talked about. They're basically nudging us towards self-reflection. We should really ask ourselves, okay, what situations, what relationships in my waking life make me feel exposed or judged? Or, hey, if the feeling is protective, where might I actually need some guidance right now? Just pinpointing those real-world connections is the first step to understanding and maybe addressing them.
So it's like an invitation, really, to take that uncomfortable feeling and turn it into a moment of, like, self-discovery, exploring those hidden bits of ourselves.
Precisely, yeah. So the next time you feel those unseen eyes in your slumber, what new questions will you ask yourself about your own hidden self or maybe about the world around you?